Last year, Cooley Dickinson Hospital was the first hospital in the area to offer 3D mammography. 3D mammography offers patients an earlier and more sensitive breast cancer diagnosis. And on the one-year anniversary of Cooley Dickinson's adoption of 3D mammography, experts Nancy King and Deborah Grandmont joined us this morning to discuss how 3D mammography has made an impact in the lives of patients who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. Welcome, ladies. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
And we're all wearing our pink. It is Go Pink today to raise awareness for breast cancer prevention. So we encourage you, if you haven't gotten dressed yet or if you're about to head out, put a little pink on to raise awareness. Now, it's interesting just how much of an impact the 3D mammograms have made on detection.
It really is incredible. We've had quite an experience at Cooley Dickinson. We've been fortunate to be able to diagnose some very, very small, tiny cancers very early compared to traditional 2D mammography. And our experience at Cooley Dickinson has been that we've actually found 8 cancers in a year since we started 3D mammography that we would have never found with 2D mammography.
Isn't it amazing? So all of these walks, all of these fundraisers, it's all making a difference. There's this new technology that is saving lives. And so it's wonderful to know that it's all going to make a difference in people's lives. I think that's fantastic. It's also really decreased the number of calls you've had to make for people to come back and take a closer look as well.
Exactly. The new technology has decreased our patients being called back for additional images by up to 30%. That's huge for patients. That reduces their anxiety, you know, that they can be more comfortable with their reading, with their knowledge that their images were read by this new technology that goes through the breast by 1 millimeter at a time, and really helps the radiologist interpret the pictures with more thoroughness.
And anyone that has any kind of scare or has ever been in that position knows just how important that is.
It is.
You know, that is a lot of anxiety. It's hard to kind of go on with life when you know that you could have breast cancer. So it does make a big difference in people's lives. Now, Deb, I was able to go and visit you last week, and we took a look at some images, or it was actually on the from the 3D mammogram.
Right, at the doctor's workstation.
Yes. Let's look first at, it's not three-dimensional, but tell us what we're looking at. This is a patient who came in, and this was her initial visit.
This is a very dense breast, and you can see the white area in the front of the breast. That's breast tissue, and it's hard for you to recognize, but then that's a normal breast that you were looking at 2 years ago. That was this patient.
No cancer, it's cancer-free and normal breast. So then 2 years, she waited 2 years. 2 years later, she went in for a mammogram.
For her routine mammogram.
Let's look at that.
And we imaged her again, and I don't know if you can see to the right-hand side, there's this really white area, solid area. That turned out to be a breast cancer.
So this is the two-dimensional. Now we're going to take a look at the three-dimensional image where you can really see it much better.
So this is your three-dimensional image. So what we're doing here is scrolling through the breast layer by layer by layer, and we get to this layer where this cancer is, and you can see how it just pops out at you. So when the radiologist is looking at the images, here it comes up. It's going to pull their eye right to that area and say, this is an abnormality that wasn't there last year.
So you can see that that is moving, and it's showing every single layer of the breast so that you can really detect it. And like Nancy mentioned, you detected 8 in 1 year through this technology.
Right. Absolutely.
And interestingly, that 8 that we were referring to, you could not see it on the two-dimensional images.
See.
It's only when we added the three-dimensional image to that you could see it.
That's remarkable.
It is remarkable.
It's so comforting to know that with this technology you can detect something so small, and just to know that you can catch it that early. That's what saves lives.
It saves lives, and these patients would walk a very different path. You know, finding it so early versus, you know, finding a large mass later on. So.
Of course, and then there's all of the small steps that people can take at home as well. Things that we can do, you know, even if you're not quite 40 yet and ready for your first mammogram, you still should be doing self-exams at home.
Right, I know that there's people that say, oh, I don't know what I'm feeling, but the point is that you're going to know if something's different. It's not what it is, it's just so everybody should know their own body.
Right, and it is worth it to do that because many people have discovered something that has turned into, you know, something that they didn't want to hear, but thankfully they did catch it in time. Right. And there's also, you know, that you always are telling people once you hit 40, you should go every single year, because that patient we looked at waited 2 years and that mass developed.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of controversy about that, you know, between providers, insurance coverage, and I think, you know, making the point to women that it's just so important to have an annual screening, because, you know, certainly you don't want to end up like, you know, the alternative, and
Of
you
course,
know,
of course.
there's so many ways to take care of yourself, and that's what we all should do as women. So.
Of course, absolutely. And that's why we're all wearing pink. Raising awareness, letting people know the resources that are available and what we can do to lead healthy, happy lives. Now, 3D mammograms are available at Cooley Dickinson Hospital. If people want to learn more, they want to get in touch with you, can you let us know how they can do that?
Sure. You can call us directly at 413-582-2101 and press 1 and schedule your mammogram. Any questions, anything outside of that, please contact Cooley Dickinson Hospital. My name is Nancy King. I'm the Director of Imaging, and Deb Gramont is the supervisor for our women's imaging services. We're very available to speak with anyone about the details of this technology.
These are the friendly faces you can talk to. And really quickly, we're out of time. We want to let people know about this, the law that just passed in September.
Oh yeah, September 24th, a new law passed that's telling women, that dictates that we as mammographers or mammography facilities are required to tell patients when they have dense breasts. And that will educate them about what their breast composition is, and there's information that they can seek to find out more information about that.
Wonderful. We're going to put a link to the American Cancer Society website so people can learn more about that law that has passed. Thank you, Nancy and Deb.
Thank you so much.
Nice to have you both here. And go pink to raise awareness,
Go pink.
breast cancer prevention. Thank you so much. In